We kick off with the news that 40 people are now feared dead after Palm Sunday turned bloody in Gariawaye community of Angwan Rukuba in Jos, Plateau State last night after an attack by gunmen. The gunmen are said to have opened fire at 7:50 p.m. last night, with security personnel, including the army, arriving on the scene at 8:45 p.m. The Plateau State government has enforced a 48-hour curfew as the situation in the community is calm but is tense. This comes as the Defense Headquarters reacted to backlash that followed the Chief of Defense Staff's lecture that endorsed the reintegration of former terrorists into society. The response from DHQ concerning the statement around the lecture by the Chief of Defense Staff not connected to this incident. Thank you very much. This statement reads, second, the comments by the CDS were made within the context of a professional military doctrine lecture, emphasizing the importance of multidimensional conflict resolution. His remarks highlighted global best practices where rehabilitation complements battlefield successes and not replaces them. Any attempt to frame these remarks as sympathy for terrorists is a gross misinterpretation. Well, that was part of the statement. You'll remember last week we had spoken about, some references about to the prodigal son and so forth. So DHQ is saying that all these comments need to be taken in a holistic manner and that the people being addressed were other military men. Well, meanwhile, Nigerians have converged in the comments section of an Instagram post by the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, where he declares that those who have graduated from the University of Crime cannot be rehabilitated.
Darles una oportunidad. Además, ¿qué oportunidad les podemos dar? ¿Les podemos pagar un estipendio por no ser criminales como hacen otros países? Les pagan, básicamente es un incentivo para ser criminal. Porque ahora hacen dinero de la criminalidad y encima reciben dinero del gobierno. Entonces, presidente, la única forma de solucionar un problema que ya existe de inseguridad es con fuerza. Con la fuerza del Estado. Que yo lo he dicho en otras ocasiones, todo Estado es más fuerte que sus grupos criminales presentes en su territorio. No hay Estado que no pueda contra los criminales. Si un Estado no vence a la criminalidad es porque el Estado es cómplice.
His final words, he says, if a state does not overcome crime, it means that state or a part of the state is complicit in the crime. Now, I'll come to you, Rufai. Yeah. Harrowing, horrifying news. If you look at those images and videos out of Jos from last night, they're still counting bodies. We have our correspondents on the ground there, and the situation is just so sad. And all of this in the context of how are we handling criminality? The debate continues about reintegration and reform and rehabilitation, but this is the situation on the ground. Look at this community. They're counting dead bodies this morning.
It was a sad, bloody Palm Sunday. See, when the Irish crisis happened and Londonderry happened, one of my favorite rock bands used to sing a song called Bloody Sunday, Sunday, Bloody Sunday. And there's a portion of that song, Sunday, Bloody Sunday, said, how long must we sing this song? How long must we sing this song of pain and disaster and harrowing situations like this? The total evisceration of humanity. People are killed, murdered in cold blood. And it segues back to the conversation about the DHQ. I mean, when we took umbrage at what the military head did say, it was a corrective measure. He goofed, pure and simple. He missed the ball, trying to preach a message of reconciliation. See, you use that for military doctrine. You say you try to rehabilitate people because you want society to move on. But those military doctrines do not work in this part of the world. See the killings. See the numerous peace deals. Have these people respected the peace deals went by? No. Weren't the governors that went out to do peace deals there, weren't they ashamed? I think this clarification was unnecessary. They should have just shut it, left it alone. It's not everything you react to. And I must tell people that speak for ministries and government in this country, when you goof on an initial premise and people call you out, it's just best you shut it up. You don't need to react and push in a press statement because it just increases the hurt.
Yeah.
You were talking about a prodigal son in a country where these terrorists kill people. So why don't you make a case for the family members of the people they killed? Just like we're trying to make a case for the people killed in Jos today. Who is going to bring succor and help to their family members? Who is going to pay for this killing that has been done? The only offense they've committed, they stay in a part of this country and they are Nigerians. And they swear allegiance to the sovereignty of this country.
Yeah.
And nothing is being done about. So people should not come and tell us cock and bull stories. Nabi Bukele might be hardline because in his own country, he kills these terrorists. He obliterates them. But the truth is, him saying that is also very valid because you know your country. All this forgiveness doctrine, it does not work.
Right.
If people wanted to repent, they will repent. And the people that are terrorists, they have a choice. Why didn't everybody choose to be terrorists? We all hurt from this country. We can choose to be terrorists, but we decided to take a good path. So when they make their decisions, they should face the music and trying to tell us with military doctrine and everything. And like Dr. Abati said rightly, people are just so concerned about the largesse and the quota of funds that will be put towards this scheme.
Yeah.
Did Operation Suluhu work in the past? It didn't work. It didn't work. I know they are going to bring one or two people and sprinklers and say, oh, this is the evidence of it working. It's just about the funds that trickle down. We need to be able to solve this problem of insecurity, and the state must show its might.
That's it. Absolutely.
And I think it was insensitive trying to explain what we already know.
Well, I suppose the debate is still out there. The policy is still underway, and we'll continue to see its merits and try to unpack its demerits as well, and the impact that it has on the security situation in the country. Now, whilst our politicians face the pre-election period squarely, governance continues to suffer as Nigerians continue to grapple with a crippling power crisis. In some places, citizens have become so frustrated that they have started attacking officials of distribution companies who had come to disconnect the power from their neighborhood. This is shown in a video that has now gone viral. Well, we certainly don't support violence here, but that is how that community decided to address the situation. Well, this crisis is not felt by adults exclusively, as this young girl has very eloquently explained her take on the situation.
You go get light once in a week. You go get fridge. You go to buy block. You know they normal. We they sell electricity to another country. Where else we sell? We don't even get them. Now they reach campaign time. You know they do free bus. Since last 2 years, you don't remember us. So in the election next year, you know they do. One full us again. One full us again.
Well, we'll go to Twitter, where Chief Tweet says, imagine a teen calling out reality, straight to the point and honest. It's like she's saying, we have the resources, yet we can't power our homes, but you're busy elsewhere. And now that elections are near, you show up with freebies. This is a conversation that we've been having consistently, that we're in this never-ending cycle, almost perpetual cycle, that when elections come around, we see some eye service, but during the period of governance, our politicians are not as accessible.
You see, that's the paradox of Nigeria. President Tinubu, during the APC convention, he gave a speech on power.
Yes, he did.
He talked about the power asset company. They want to add extra 1,000. Gamco. They want to add extra 1,500 megawatts. The question we should ask him: what about his promise that if we do not have power, it shouldn't be voted for? He wants to add extra 1,500 megawatts to the grid, right? Why didn't he wait to use part of that 1,500? Why is he going off grid to use solar? So it shows our leaders do not even think or care about us. They make promises, and that young teenager put it succinctly. They make promises when it's favorable for them. I totally condemn what was done to that power official. You do not pull a ladder down. You could have killed that man, and if you kill that man, you will pick him up, and you will face the full wrath of the law. But there's also a level of frustration by the people. And the question we should even ask, they don't need to come and disconnect your light if the area is metered. So what about the national metering scheme? So if your area is metered, if you cannot pay your electricity bill through your metering system, and definitely you will not get light if you're given a prepaid meter. And that's why they still go to do disconnection. So it just shows that the power ecosystem is warped. We've been talking about this. We have installed capacity of about 13,000. We cannot even put this on the grid. The grid keeps collapsing. Although some people came the other day to say, we should even thank God that the grid is not collapsing as much as it used to collapse. So we have just built a country where there are no standards by.
And just to reinforce, the video of the official being knocked off the ladder is a video that's recirculating because of
there before.
So it's started trending again because of everything.
It's a case of poor violence. All the dramatists personnel involved in that particular video, they are all victims. The NEPA official, he couldn't have gone there on his own. PACN, they call them now, or disco, whatever. He was acting on instruction. He was asked to go and disconnect, okay? His boss will probably not give him further details. The gentlemen there, they were also aggrieved. You don't give us light. We still pay electricity bill, then you say you want to disconnect. What do you want to disconnect? They removed the ladder and it fell down. But as you said, we don't endorse that. But these are all victims living in the kettle, in the hot kettle of water that Nigeria has become in a very combustible manner. As for the young lady who was also saying, well, Tinubu, you have to try, you have to do this. Yeah, on the surface of it, everything she said is right. But I keep saying that the electorate is part of the problem. When it is election season, you go to them as a politician, as a leader, you tell them, we will do this for you, they will tell you, we don't want literature. Give us money. How do we educate the ordinary Nigerian voter not to collect money and suffer for 4 years? Of course, another 4 years, the same politicians will come back to you. They will give you air conditioner. They will give you all kinds of inducements, laptops, as they did in, those your people, your Lagos people, when they went to the Southeast. Now, and then, of course, you pay for it for another. That cycle needs to be broken. That's why there should be greater investment in political education, civic education, not just by INEC, but also by civil society groups, to say, look, vote wisely, vote with your conscience, and then not come back and be complaining, we are living in hell. Of course, if you have been fed and you have, give them rice.
Give them rice.
You people eventually got rice. So after you have collected rice, don't come and complain. So there's also something about responsibility.
Maybe we should change the language to collect the rice and still complain.
So
collect the rice and still vote.
You are defending yourself.
No.
After you collect
can tell hungry people not to collect rice. It's not going to happen. So I think, it's beyond that, because there's a lot of education and awareness that's actually on.
Yes.
The truth is that they actually want to listen or watch these platforms?
Let's talk about awareness and education, because this is taking a different spin in the northern part of the country. Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso yesterday tendered his official resignation from the New Nigeria People's Party, citing the need for strategic realignment given the nation's current trajectory. Well, whilst he's widely anticipated to join the African Democratic Congress ADC today, content criticizing the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration created by Kwankwasia followers online has started gaining momentum. Actors from Kannywood have started creating videos explaining how they feel the current government has failed them, and popular Kano-based musician Tijani Gandu has released several songs that paint a picture of the travails of the North under the Tinubu administration. Here's a snippet of one of his songs that has now gone viral, where he sings, and I quote, "Students were kidnapped and even increased in number. Communities are being brought down. Even a brigadier general has been brought down. The perpetrators are known but not arrested." All right. Well, you see the translation, and there's several of these songs, and once you go onto Arewa Twitter, they're very popular, a lot of views and so forth as well. But they're singing about societal woes. It's not a first. We've always had artists who sing about societal woes, but I think the timing around this is quite interesting.
Very interesting. I think I'll link this to the previous story we just had around when it comes towards election season. You see all manner of people come out to speak, and some of it is altruistic and some of it is politically motivated. Number one is that this is also, politics and politicians leveraging entertainment and pop culture to reach out to the people. In terms of education, the language, speaking in the language that people can understand and using a medium that's popular amongst young people, younger electorates who will come out of first-time voters to get their buy-in. But the truth is that while we praise this, avenue for creativity, what are they pushing for? What are they advocating for? If it were just for good governance, it would be excellent. But a lot of times, these songs, these entertainers are politically backed as well. So it's not fair at the end of the day. Yes, they are stating things that are obvious, but a number of times, I'm not saying this is what he's doing, a number of times it is who comes with the money during a particular election cycle that gets his song, being sung. President Tinubu also has his own camp singing his own song, wasn't it? So it's not. And this is where we have the conversation around entertainers and influencers using their influence and platform, for good, not just for the highest bidder. Because you can accuse them, it's just like at a higher level of amount of money. It's the same thing we accuse people who collect rice or 5,000 naira during election cycle and sell their conscience for a particular movement. It's the same thing for entertainers. Many of them is just that the bid or the amount of money is higher. And so at different points in time, they decide to back a particular person. That's usually what happens. And so we need to move away from that. So actually, a few of them actually do it because they're concerned about the plight of the people. But many of these entertainers whom politicians leverage their influence to push an agenda are just as bad as those who collect 5,000 naira for a bag of rice because they know that it favors them and not for the collective good. But it is politics, entertainment, politics, influence, and we're going to see a lot more of this coming out in the near future as we get closer to election time.
All under the category of song as protest, song as politics. That's how it is defined in the theoretical literature. And you will see more of this. But they are all covered under Section 39, freedom of expression. So now that this gentleman has come out with his own song, we should wait for Rarara. To do a counter. That's part of the entertainment in politics. You see it in Zimbabwe.
Yes, all over.
We've seen it
United
in Uganda.
States, everywhere.
We've seen it in Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
So we see more of it to entertain us in the midst of whatever reservations we may have.
Let's get our Hausa translators because there's a lot of great music coming from Arewa and from all across the country. As we've said, it's political season and we expect to see more and more of this. Now we turn our attention to milestones.